Speed, speed, and more speed. Rangers, Rangers! World of speed!
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
WKGF presents The Witching Hour with Max Thorne.
Good evening, my little midnight society. It's me, Max Thorne, and it's Friday, December 8th, 1989, and welcome to the Witching Hour. Tonight's show is going to be a little different. We are staying live for the entire hour. No commercials, no pre-recorded segments, just me and Tess on the air, waiting. What are we waiting for exactly? Well, we are waiting for a call, and I imagine we might have a few new listeners tonight, so let me tell you why we are doing what we're doing. If you didn't listen live last week, my producer Tessa uncovered a clue that Grace Lawson, the woman responsible for my former producer's death, live on air, has made her way to my hometown of Bakersfield, California. And again, the question is why. We found her hum a few weeks ago, and if she was in my house and saw me recording, she had to have known that there was a chance we would find out, unless she didn't know at all and hasn't been listening, which kind of hurts my feelings. But none of that is important, because we know for sure that as of last week, Grace was in Bakersfield and in my house, and that's all I really needed to know. So after the show last week, I was planning on checking into a random hotel for obvious reasons, but Tess, the superhero, insisted that I crash at her apartment. So I did. On the sofa. So after the show last week, I ran home, I grabbed some stuff, made sure I wasn't being followed as well as I could, and then drove to Tessa's, where I have been living for a week. I called my parents and told them to take a vacation ASAP, and they did, and I don't even know where they went, which is what I wanted. So I'm glad they're gone, because I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so why the change in format tonight? Well, the main reason is because of Tessa's teeth. They hurt. They hurt when danger is near, apparently, because she's amazing. And today, she said her mouth feels like it's filled with cavities. So we have to assume that either Tessa's hygiene has been horrible lately or that Grace will show up. I'm just kidding, Tessa. So what that means for the fate of us, we are completely unsure. So we're asking you to not call in tonight. The only person we're hearing from, hopefully, is Grace. And I will do my best to fill the time needed. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why she chose me. And especially, I have no idea why she picked poor Ricky to be her victim. But all I can tell is that she wants an audience for some reason. So we're going to give it to her. Okay? I tried to get Tessa to sit this one out. Let me handle the show completely. I've done it a few times in the past, but she said, nothing doing. And that is an incredibly ballsy move. She's giving me a smile and a thumbs up. So, Grace, I know you're listening, and I have to assume that you're near, even though Tess is telling me you're not near enough to be heard. She's going to stay on the headphones, monitoring the sound tonight, so it'll be just me. If you're a listener not named Grace Lawson, please do not call in tonight. The phone lines are open only for her. And her, alone. While we try to figure this out. She challenged me to a game I didn't want to play, and I would love to end it as quickly as possible. So, Grace, I've got a phone on my desk. All I gotta do is push a button. It's right here waiting for you. All the other lines are closed. It's all about you. So again, listeners, please do not call tonight. I know this situation seems ripe for a prank call, but we all know what happened before and what can happen again. So please, I don't want to say this to sound dorky, but heed my warning. Please, just keep the phone lines open for Grace. All right, Grace, I know you don't need it, but 805-272-0089. And now we wait. I will tell you what Tess and I did all week, though. It's pretty anticlimactic, but I need you to know. So remember when she said she heard another sound on the hum that killed Ricky? We basically spent all week in her apartment with her cool equipment trying to find it. And no matter how we adjusted the levels and the frequencies and this slider up and this slider down, we could not find that noise alone. But it's there. The reader spikes. It's there. But it's hidden. It's a hidden sound that the reader can read, but we can't hear. And it makes absolutely no sense. But how many times have we said that? It makes absolutely no sense. So we have to assume that the hidden sound is the lethal one. It's only on the recording that from when Ricky got it. So I'm sorry to report that that was a complete dead end, but I promise you we tried. And it just impossible. She's got good equipment, too. She's got good equipment. All right, well, I am very frazzled today, in case you didn't notice, which I think would be impossible to not notice. It's also very noisy in here today. We're trying to do things differently. So if there's a little background noise, I apologize. So this last week, I did not do my weekly rock block. They just played reruns while I hid in poor Tessa's home. Not that I really thought Grace would bother me on a local Bakersfield show, but I didn't want to put anyone at risk. So I stayed put. I stayed hidden like that sound. And honestly, I've been dreading today. So let's talk. If nothing comes of this, then I will sincerely apologize and we'll get back to normal next week. But something tells me tonight's the night. The teeth don't lie. Right, Tessa?
They haven't failed me yet.
So, let's see. Previously, we talked about Bill Lawson, late husband of Grace Lawson, a tinkerer, an electronics whiz who was working on or constantly upgrading a frequency scrambler. The popular belief around the studio here, thanks to a caller, is that this frequency scrambler could make Grace feel better. By all accounts, Grace lived a normal, happy life in Stanton Park for years before the sudden and unexpected death of her husband. And that is when things started to unravel, at least that we've noticed. And, that's when the killings began. So that's not like my theory. That's a timeline. Like, no killings. Bill dies. Oh, look, there's people split apart in Stanton Park now. So, did Bill have something that made Grace better? It sure seems that way. And it seems like she was cool with it, because I'm sure she would have had ample opportunity, to escape if she was in any way displeased. But we still don't know why. We can theorize all we want about the who's and the how's, but unless she tells us herself, we'll never know. Maybe we can find out tonight if that phone rings. Again, we are not taking calls from listeners tonight. Okay. What else? I'm usually so good at talking, but now I just feel like, I don't know. Well, I guess I can still do opening show chit chat. So let's do that. Let's start with, this is going to be real boring. The number one song in America this week is We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. And since Grace is from somewhere in the UK, the number one song there is You Got It, The Right Stuff by New Kids on the Block. Oh boy. I guess the biggest news of the week, though, is the official end of the Cold War. Gorbachev and Bush declared it, and there is no way those two people would ever lie to us. So we are looking at easy street from here on out, gang. Nothing but sunshine and lollipops for everybody. Opening in theaters, which I saw none of, are The War of the Roses, which looks like it could be pretty funny. She-Devil, starring Roseanne Barr. And The Wizard, starring Fred Savage, who burned me earlier this year with the horrible Little Monsters. So, on that one too. How did that dweeb get two big movies in the same year? I don't know. I will say that there was a movie last week that opened that me and my parents saw that was actually fantastic. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I know. It doesn't sound promising. It opened last Friday before, everything happened, and I usually avoid holiday movies like the plague, but Dad talked me into going. We hadn't been to the movies since that night, but I decided to venture out, and I can say that the movie is hilarious and definitely worth your money, which is something I don't say a lot, because a lot of comedies, not that funny. This one's good. So if you're looking for something to see and you're in the mood for a funny holiday movie, that's my official Max Thorne recommendation. And if that happens to be the last movie I ever see, then I'm fine with it. I certainly hope not, though. Come on, Grace. We're all waiting. Nobody wants to hear me ramble about current events. I can hear the dials being tuned from millions of listeners right now as they are so bored with this. Okay, let's, a new rock band named Dangerous Toys got a new album coming out. It's pretty good. Phil Collins is still dominating with the release of But Seriously from late last month, but it's doing okay. The rap trio, the Fat Boys, released a new one called, okay. Odds of it being a prank call. This is Max Thorne.
You kept it together, Max. I am impressed.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, and I really don't care about impressing you. You killed my friend.
Oopsie. Had to make sure you knew I was being serious.
He didn't do anything to you.
Please, Max. This is old news. I'm not talking about that, but I am impressed. I was afraid you'd be off the air and already forgotten by now, maybe lying on a beach on some island trying to forget. But you stayed. I appreciate that.
Well, then I wish I hadn't.
Max, please. We're not going to get anywhere if you have an attitude. I don't like attitudes.
Well, I don't like murderers, so I guess it's safe to say that us being friends is not in the cards.
I don't want your friendship, Max. But I am glad we know each other.
Yeah, I bet you do. It's all a big joke to you, huh? Was being in my house a real knee-slapper to you?
Oh, please, you didn't even know. You finished your recording, unbuttoned your pants, cracked open beer, then fell asleep watching Headbangers Ball. Riveting stuff, truly.
Well, you get your kicks however you can, I guess.
No, I don't do things for kicks. That's why I called you.
Ah, lucky me. Why'd you wait so long? If you've been here for at least a week and a half, why?
You're a smart guy. I'm sure you'll figure out why I needed to wait a bit, especially by the end of our call. You know, you never rush people.
Excuse me?
I've listened to or watched enough talk shows to know that most hosts panic when a caller goes silent. They interrupt to fill a space. They swoop in to rescue their show from the dreaded quiet. But you don't.
Ah, glad to know you've been paying attention to me. I don't interrupt because sometimes the quiet is scarier than anything I can add.
Well, you're consistent. And I like that. I like you, Max. Always have. You let people talk long enough to reveal themselves. You don't need to push.
Yeah, look, I'm really enjoying the ego boost here. Truly, I am. But can we stop? Like, why me, Grace? Why this show? Why Ricky? Why even do this on the air?
Because you stay calm. You don't hang up. You don't mock. Not usually, at least. Because you know how to keep things civil. That's a rarity today.
You murdered my friend on my show.
And you stayed on the line.
That wasn't civility. That was, I don't know, shock, panic.
It was discipline, Max. Don't sell yourself short. You had the clarity of mind to grab your little tape recorder even after you went off the air. You may have been in shock, but you certainly weren't in a confused panic.
You don't get to rewrite what happened or tell me how I felt.
I'm trying to explain why it mattered.
To who?
To me, Max. It mattered to me.
Well, you said you didn't want to talk about that, so...
I don't. I want to talk about you.
Well, great job. You have my attention.
I always have.
Can you just answer the question?
Which one?
Why?
I'll get to that in a minute.
We found you. We did what you wanted. Is this my interview, or is it something else?
It's something else, I regret to tell you. And as for the interview, this is probably as good as it's going to get. I will be fair, though.
Great.
You've stopped pretending this is going to end neatly. And that's good. That's when people listen the best.
What the hell are you talking about?
You're not hard to read when you're being honest.
You seem awful confident about what I'm thinking, but what I'm really thinking about is why the hell you're yammering on. You're speaking in riddles. If you think that makes you intriguing, it doesn't. It makes you annoying, and it makes you insufferable.
Oh, look at little Maxie getting snippy with someone who can end his life in a blink of an eye. Gutsy move, my love. I like it.
Just be honest with me. What is it that you want?
Time.
For what?
You're skipping ahead.
It's a very simple question.
Do you read the last page of a book first, just so you know how it ends? I know Ricky wouldn't have liked that. He loves his book so.
Yeah, I think you meant loved. Past tense. Do you expect me to keep talking or what? Like, what even is this game? Like, I played a game once with my friend's daughter, and she kept making up nonsensical rules as the game went on, and somehow that was less annoying than what you're doing. I can end this call, remember?
That would be quite painful.
Oh, it would?
For you.
Then tell me what you want.
Rush, rush, rush. Fine, Max. Let me start by saying how impressed I am with you.
Yeah, so you've said.
No, not about all that. About how well you did in finding me. I knew you could do it. I just knew it. I knew I picked the right man for the job.
You picked me?
Well, what I meant was that I was impressed by how you didn't jump to conclusions. You didn't form a mob and hunt me like I was Frankenstein's monster. You played it smart. You talked to the survivors of my victims instead of talking about them. That was good work.
They were witnesses.
No, not all of them. They were survivors. But you stayed with it. You talked to people on the pier. I'll never know how you tracked them down. You and your new friend, she sounds cute. Is she cute, Max?
She's talented and awesome, first and foremost. But yes, she is a very attractive young woman.
Oh, I just knew it. I used to be a very attractive young woman too, you know.
I don't care.
Snippy. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. You and your new girlfriend noticed patterns. You discovered my little noise and figured out it's a proximity marker I'm stuck with.
How close were we to the truth? Like, we had a caller tell us what he thought, which seemed to fit.
Pretty close, actually. But I knew you'd get it.
Tell me about Bill.
Oh, now this is hard copy?
Hey, you called, man. I asked questions. That's how this goes.
Bill was my husband.
Did you love him?
Of course I did. He was the kindest man I ever met.
Was he British?
He was. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You and your listeners banded together and came up with something good. You didn't rush it. You didn't sensationalize it. You took the threat seriously and respected it. You treated it like something that mattered. Like I mattered.
This isn't the Max Thorne compliment hour. You killed my friend. Why? Why let us dig all this up? Why not just disappear again? All I did was talk about you. I explained how I got my start on radio, and let's face it, that was because of you. I didn't do anything. 1 million reporters reported on you, but they all get a pass, but not me. So why?
I didn't know anything about you until this show of yours ended up in the UK. I heard an advertisement for it and instantly knew who you were. I listened. Then I had a slip. Usually I would release my, let's call it, energy on wild animals. Basically things that would never draw attention. And that was working out well for me. I was behaving. But 2 men pushed me too far and I had a slip. They were vulgar to me, wouldn't leave me alone, then followed me out to the alley to do God knows what to me, or at least try. They didn't get very far, but I lost control. Split them both open right there on the street. It was my first time doing 2 at a time since the night before we met. It was exhausting, and I don't regret it. I could have just slipped away again. Started fresh, someone new, if only the one damn person who noticed me wasn't a listener of this dreadful show, so now I'm back in the spotlight.
But you did it. You had the slip, not me. You're blaming the wrong people here.
You asked why, and I'm telling you, most people would have stopped this whole thing once it got scary, but you didn't.
People died.
And you kept asking the right questions.
Well, stick another gold star to my jacket then.
Don't mock what I'm saying. I'm acknowledging that you're paying attention and doing a good job.
To what?
To the space between things. To what doesn't fit. To what keeps coming back even when you're thinking you're done with it.
By all accounts, the FCC should have pulled me off the air permanently. It's only some freak chance that I got to stay on, so what would have happened if I disappeared? Banned from radio forever?
Oh, please. I knew they would never allow that.
Who wouldn't allow it? Grace, now what?
Now, I explain.
Gold star for you.
I wasn't born to kill. That's a mistake everyone makes. They think monsters arrive fully formed. They don't. They're built.
By who?
By people who noticed early.
Noticed what?
That I was a witch. Not like a Halloween witch with a wart on her nose and a broomstick. A different kind.
Tell me.
It started small. When I was a kid, things around me reacted. I can make class sing. Have you ever rubbed your finger around the top of a wine glass and gotten a little melody? That's what I could do just by looking at it. If someone was standing too close to me, they might get a headache. But no one suspected it was me. Just a strange phenomenon.
So it was always there? You said you weren't born like that.
You're not paying attention, Max. I said I was not born to kill. And I wasn't. My powers were there, but I was generally a good kid. I never harmed animals, never harmed people, at least not intentionally. The worst I did was cheat on a few tests and trick some oversexed little boys from time to time. Horny little buggers they were, but they got off relatively easy.
So what happened?
I was young and frightened, and I was in public.
And what did you do?
I screamed. Not even that loud. But it was precise.
And what, people heard it?
The wrong people heard it.
I'm guessing it wasn't a normal scream.
It shook people. It made them woozy, like they got hit in the head. I was confused for a moment. And well, word spreads fast when something like that doesn't fit. Doctors talk. Researchers research, and governments listen.
They took you.
They collected me, like I wasn't even human. I was being raised by my mother, and I never saw her again. I don't know if she was killed, or out there looking for me. All I know is that she is dead now.
What did these people do to you?
They tested on me at first. Soundproof rooms and electrodes hooked up on my naked body, and they watched. And they were disappointed.
Disappointed with what?
Because no matter how badly it hurt me, and it did hurt me, my reaction wasn't what they were hoping for.
Which was?
There were objects set up all around the room. Dummies, pumpkins, watermelons, large tubs of water, blocks of ice. They wanted destruction. And all they got were tears. So they needed to hurt me more.
Who was they? Do you know?
I know. And soon you will. Years went by. I grew up naked and alone in front of them. 8 men. Always 8 men. They learn that pain sharpens it and fear focuses it, and isolation gives it direction.
They tortured you.
Yes. But they called it refining me. Every time I broke something unintentionally, they adjusted the conditions no matter how much it hurt me.
Oh my God.
God had no place there. They weren't cruel because they hated me. It was strictly business. I wasn't a person to them. They were patient and methodical, and they wanted consistency.
They wanted a weapon.
An asset, they called me.
Oh God, I've heard that before. And Bill?
Bill was one of the 8. He was there to make sure the equipment worked, to stabilize the rooms and dampen feedback and what other mumbo-jumbo they talked about.
He saw what they were doing?
Yes, he saw. But he wasn't one of the original 8. He came in later. There was an accident, and one of the men got killed. Not by me, although I wish it was. But there was a major malfunction and the team dropped to a 7. Bill was brought in after him.
Brought into, like, what exactly?
They're called Echo. Team Echo. Project Echo. This is going to sound like a bad Sunday night movie plot, but they're a top secret government agency tasked with finding weapons that can kill with no warning, no trace. Just death and confusion. They were looking for a sound wave that could explode heads. What they got was me.
And this was where?
just outside of London. Top secret building, unassuming, disguised as whatever it needed to be to keep people away. Mundane and cold on the outside. The opposite on the inside.
So, what happened?
Like I said, I was there for years. I was beaten down, tired, and angry. So angry. And that was when I was at my best. They used to drag homeless people off the street, drunks, people that wouldn't be missed, and make me... They would watch me kill them. At first I could only make their ears bleed a little bit, and that was it. Echo wasn't pleased with this. If I didn't kill the person in the room with me, they would. Right in front of me.
Oh my God. How many times did that happen?
12. 12 times I saw the head of Echo put a bullet through an innocent man's head.
It was the same guy every time? Like, who did it, I mean?
Yes. Briggs. His name was Briggs. Never knew his first name. He was the head of the agency, the big man in charge.
And Bill?
He was the only one that showed any emotion. You could tell this wasn't what he signed up for, but he was stuck. They wouldn't just let him quit and go get a job serving food at the local Howard Johnson. He knew that. Everyone knew that. But back to my time with Echo. The men kept coming in, and the 13th one, lucky number 13, I ripped his skull apart. I saw the fear on his face. He could feel it being torn open, and those men looking in clapped. They clapped, Max, even Bill. But his face betrayed his excitement. He was in survival mode, just as I was.
You never tried to escape?
Max, would you ask that to a prison inmate? Why didn't you just escape? Please, Max, I was in a cell. It may have been a glass cell, but that glass was a foot thick. I may have been able to make it sing, but I can't make it shatter. And even if I did, they had precautions. The man who Bill replaced, the one who had the unfortunate accident, he came up with something that would strip any power I had. I'm not sure what it was, but it looked like large microphones. There were several of them. My power is sound, as you figured out, and these things, whatever they were, suppressed my sound. Don't ask me how, because I don't know.
And they worked?
Yes. Whenever someone had to come in and remove my clothes and place those things all over my body, or when I had to be removed from the cell, I could hear those things start to hum. They were so strong they vibrated the walls they were attached to.
Did it hurt?
No, but I could feel it, and I could feel that I wasn't myself. Have you ever taken too much medicine before? You know how it makes you feel? Like you don't feel bad, you just don't feel whole, if that makes sense.
It does. And the reason I asked if you could have escaped is because I saw you vanish from a locked room, and people saw you vanish from the pier. So, I mean, not to mention you made it from downtown to Santa Monica in just a few minutes.
That is sound too, Max. Everything about me is sound. How does your voice reach millions of people?
Sound waves?
Exactly.
You can turn yourself into sound waves?
Briefly, yes.
Why'd you leave the jacket at the police station? Could you not, take it with you?
I could have. Anything touching me comes with me. I just left that there as a taunt.
If you're touching another human, can you make them jump too?
I could, but I'm afraid they wouldn't fare too well. They would not be able to be put back together. It works well with inanimate objects, not so much the living. I tried a cat once. Made the jump but never returned. Poor kitty.
So, I'm confused. Why didn't you jump when you were in your cell? Those men had to turn off their suppressors or whatever in order for you to, kill those men.
Different frequencies, I'm sorry to say. Just because one suppressor is off doesn't mean the others aren't. These men are a lot of things, but stupid isn't one of them. And honestly, that's my own fault. I tipped my hand too early when they were trying to take me the first time, but Back then, I couldn't do more than a few feet jump, so even when I did it, they were still able to catch me. I wish I had more answers for all of this. I know it sounds vague, but I never understood it either. All I knew is I couldn't jump when I was in that cell.
I'm sorry. Please go on.
Thank you. So, yeah. They had me. No escape. I remember they even had these little gizmos they put in their ears for an extra layer of protection. This was technology far beyond anything we even have now. Little wireless earpieces, smaller than a hearing aid. Bill wore them too.
So how did you end up here?
Bill. He used to come visit me at night when no one else was around. Of course, there was security footage of him being there, but he would lie, always say it was for research purposes. But he was the first person that actually treated me like a woman. A real woman. In years. Almost 15 years I was kept there. They had stolen my childhood from me, my youth. They took me when I was 14 years old, Max, and by the time Bill came to visit, I was almost 30. To everyone else, I was just a thing. Even when I was naked in front of them, there were no lustful looks, because to them I wasn't a person, just a project. But it was during those late-night visits that Bill came up with his plan. I know I keep calling him Bill, but at the time that was not his name. But he'll remain Bill for the rest of this story.
And I'm guessing yours wasn't Grace.
It was not. I did start with a G, though.
All right.
So, Bill, that tech genius, he came up with a way to get me out. But that wasn't the biggest problem. Escaping would be a cakewalk compared to what came after.
What came after?
Staying hidden. We knew that the remaining 7 members of Echo would not give up on finding us. We would be hunted, and we would be killed. Or at least Bill would.
But how would they find you?
My hum, Max. It can be traced. You know that as much as anyone. And I'm not saying it would be easy or fast, but if they scanned non-stop for any trace of me, they would find us eventually. We wouldn't be able to rejoin the world. We'd be constantly looking over our shoulders, afraid of someone hearing me.
So Bill built something to silence you, basically.
Exactly. Just as you discovered, a frequency scrambler of some sort that distorted my sound and hid it in the ambience of the world. When we escaped, the device was big, about the size of a big tackle box, and he put it in a backpack, like the kids wore to school, and strapped it to my back, and we ran. We heard the alarm sound almost right away, but with the device working, they couldn't track us. We left his car behind and made it to London on foot.
I thought you said I wasn't going to get the interview.
This isn't an interview. This is me stalling.
Stalling? Stalling for what?
You'll see. Don't panic, Max. It doesn't involve you or any of your little fans.
And Tessa?
No, not Tessa. I'm not going to kill a fellow woman anyway. Us girls have got to stick together. It's rough out there for us, you know?
So only men by choice. I thought so.
Oh yes, Max, a brilliant deduction. So anyway, where was I?
You're stalling for time, for God knows what, while telling us that you and Bill made it to London on foot.
Oh, yes. Flying was much simpler back then, but crossing the ocean still required paperwork. And wouldn't you know it, Bill, with his top secret government job, was able to get me those papers, along with my new name. Amazing Grace, he called me.
Max, she's close. I can hear her. She's close.
Bravo, Tessa. I am close. You're right about that.
How are you getting closer when you're talking to me? Are you on a cellular?
A cellular telephone. Please, Max, those things are horribly unreliable. I'm at a normal phone in a normal office.
Where?
Doesn't matter. I won't be here long. I can promise you that. Wouldn't you like to hear the end of my story?
Yes.
Good. So Bill brought me to Los Angeles. He had a nice modest sum of money he had saved and bought us a quaint little house in Stanton Park. And we married at the courthouse. We stayed together in that house for 1 full year before daring to rejoin the real world. By then, Bill had upgraded his machine and we felt confident enough in it to try our luck. He went to work on a remedial job at the local Radio Shack where he would always have access to parts should anything go wrong, while I stayed home and enjoyed my newly found freedom. And that was our life.
And you loved him?
Of course I loved him. Bill knew he was taking a chance on me. I could have ended things whenever I chose to. But I never did. I liked our life. For the first 6 months after Bill got a job, I was able to start going outside more and more, thanks to a handy little machine he created that could fit right in my purse.
Another upgrade.
That's right. Another upgrade. I carried that purse with me everywhere I went, and I swear I could fool myself into thinking I was living a perfectly normal life. What happened to me in England was nothing but a distant memory. I would take the bus into town and shop at the farmer's market, and the weather was just beautiful. London is so wet and dark, and here it's just sunshine. And I was happy. For the first time since I was a little kid, I was truly happy. But then Bill died. Out of nowhere, I saw it. He was standing in the kitchen talking to me, and then he dropped. I jumped to him, I remember that, and it was the quickest way I could get to him, and it was the first time I had jumped in years. It was the first time I even thought about jumping, but it came back to me like it had never left. But it didn't matter how fast I got to him. He was dead. He was dead before he hit the ground, and no matter how many magical powers I had, he wasn't coming back.
What did you do?
I did what anyone would do. I called the police, and Bill had a small funeral, and that was that. He was gone, and I was alone again.
And eventually something went wrong with the machine.
Yes.
And you were angry.
I still am, Max. Max, I don't have much time.
What do you mean you don't have much time?
I told you this wasn't an interview.
You were stalling, but for what?
For them to find me.
Who?
Echo! Max, I can see them coming. It will take them a few minutes to figure out which office I am in, but it won't be long.
What office you're in?
Look across the street. You see that building? Look towards the upper floors. I'll turn a light on for you.
Hold on. Oh my God.
It's good to see you again, Max. I need to thank you.
Thank me for what?
For doing exactly what I had hoped you would do. You found me, and you helped me.
Helped you? How?
You helped them find me.
They were listening?
They've always been listening. Why do you think the FCC didn't pull you? Did you think they suddenly got generous? No, you were kept on because the British government needed you, just like I needed you. They used you, Max. They risked your life to find me.
I don't...
You don't understand. I know. And I'm sorry about that. But they are here, and they're coming for me. So this is the end of the road for me.
I have no idea what to say.
You don't need to say anything, Max. I wasn't totally honest with you before. I said that Bill's device stopped working after he died. It didn't. I simply turned it off. See, after he died, I started practicing. I started practicing jumping. Without the restraints on me, it was easy. Every day I would jump a little farther, then jump back. Then one day, I jumped right in front of someone. They saw me appear out of thin air, and instinct took over. I split him like an oyster shell, right there in the park. And Max, make no mistake, I loved it. I loved how it felt, and I knew right then that the game was on. But then someone covered it up, staging a fire or some nonsense, so I had to keep trying. It made me feel so good, Max, seeing their dead bodies piling at my feet, then jumping to escape. I thought I felt alive when I was married to Bill, but that was nothing compared to this. I was a killer. It's what I was raised to be. And I loved it. And I knew that Echo would find me. They're not listening anymore. They've entered the building, so I can tell you the truth. I wanted them to find me. Every corpse was another breadcrumb for them to follow, but they didn't come. Then you came along, with your Bon Jovi t-shirt and horrible interviewing skills, and I said, what the hell? Let's really get this party started. The trick to all this was to not let them know I was baiting them. They needed to think they had tracked me, that they had found me. So I killed 3 more people, and I screamed on the pier so everyone could see me, watch me disappear. I jumped all the way to London and waited. I had a surprise for them. They never came. They never came. I couldn't believe it. Maybe they just assumed I was dead after I didn't appear for a while. I didn't know. Pathetic.
You wanted them to come?
I wanted all of them to come. I needed all of them to come, because I knew there was no way that Monster Briggs would be there unless the victory was a certainty.
If you wanted this Briggs guy so much, why didn't you go look for him? Like, I don't understand.
These are not easy men to find, especially Briggs. Have you ever tried to track down members of a top-secret government organization?
I have not. No.
Yeah, not easy. But I figured out a plan. Once that waitress from the pub called, I had myself a plan B. I would taunt you. I would blame you for everything. And I would threaten you. And more importantly, I would threaten your fans, because I know you cherish them like some women cherish jewels. And that was my way to echo. Through you. And you and your listeners, you found me. If they knew this was a trap, they would never come. But if you feed their ego and make them think they've outsmarted you, well then, I've been in this office for hours. But I didn't switch off my scrambler until the time was right. I needed them to take the bait, and they did. You made them confident. You did what they couldn't do. These military men, G-men, scientists, they may be tough. They may be imposing. They are certainly not detectives. And when an asset goes missing from one of those top-secret organizations, you can't exactly hire the local PIs and expect any results. But with you, they thought you were my main target. I killed Ricky to make sure everyone knew that we were playing a sadistic game. But Max, I was never playing a game with you. I was playing a game with them. I just can't believe they were so bad at it. Imagine my disgust when I find out from your show about how they're bumbling around in America following the family members of the people I killed, like I even knew those people, and returned to the scene of the crime. But it doesn't matter, because they are here now. All 7 of them.
Yeah, I can see them. Unmarked white van. They're already inside, Grace.
I know they are. I can feel their little device. They're attempting to keep me from jumping, but that's not something they have to worry about. Not today. And since they're inside the building, that's why I'm telling you now. That's why I was stalling. I didn't want them listening in on my plan. Just wanted to give them enough to get here.
You didn't want them to hear this part?
Yes, Max. Do me a favor. Please do not step outside. I've got one last trick I've been dying to show them.
Please don't. God damn it, we need to cut the show.
No, you do not. Everyone is safe.
There are people standing outside my window, and protesters and innocent people.
I know. I see them. They're all looking at me and they're safe. The carrier wave is isolated. The harmonics will collapse inward and nothing will leave this place. There will only be 8 deaths tonight.
8? Why 8? Grace.
My last trick is quite a doozy. And maybe those people outside your window will change their tune about you soon. Max, they're coming.
They're going to have their little suppressors and their little hearing aids, and this is pointless, Grace. It's game over.
You're right about that. It is game over, but not the way you think. Not with my new talent.
Max, there are a ton of cop cars coming. Like, is this really happening? Like, what do I do?
I do hope you'll stay on the line, Max. Thank you for all you've done. Truly.
Grace, don't do this.
I know you hate me and will be glad I'm gone, but just know that I always knew
Grace, don't do
that I
this.
could count on you. And I love you for that. Good night, Max.
Grace, don't do this. Don't do this.
Hello, Gwendolyn.
Grace, don't do this.
Max, my teeth feel like they're gonna shatter.
Grace.
Hello, Briggs. I'm so happy you could all make it.
Grace.
Grace, don't do
And
this.
you have no idea how naughty I've
Grace,
been.
you don't have
Grace,
to do
don't
this.
do it.
You don't have to do this.
Grace, don't do it.
Grace, you don't have to do this, hon. You don't have to do this.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Grace, no. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
My God, I cannot believe what I'm seeing.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.